Hello, Jean. Hello, George. I made this tape, which is rather in contrast to what I used. you like that little piece, George. I find it fascinating to play. It's in 3 parts. The first part is in allegro, that is the fast part, and then you get the andante part, and the last part is a rondo. There are 3 different parts of the piece, and of course all that rustling and noise that you can hear in the background in between is me putting the pause on the tape and then coming back to start to play. But all in all, I find it rather a fascinating little piece, and I hope you like it. Well now, Jean, I've got one for you. I don't know whether you remember it. There was a play called Chorus Line, and at the school we took one of the tunes from it, and it's called One. I just wondered if you would like it. I'm just going to play it. There we are, Jean. That was one of the numbers we did at one of the concerts, and I think the teacher will be coming over to see you. She's coming over to England, and she asked me if I'd like anything done, and I said, well, I wouldn't mind you taking this tape to you, but I was very doubtful as to whether I'd get it done in time because she'll be going fairly soon. But anyway, that was that one. Georgie, that was another number that we did at one of the concerts, and it's called The Final Countdown. I'd never heard of it myself, but Mrs. Palmer, that's the one that's coming to see you, Mrs. Palmer, she just got this bare music as such, was only sort of cue notes and no bass whatsoever, so I had to make it up from the cue notes as I went along. She thought it was all right, and we played it in the concert. It wasn't too bad because it's a sort of a futuristic type of spaceship thing, you know, and that's how we portrayed it, sort of thing. Rather a funny number, really. Incidentally, that was played on the electric part of the piano, electric number 1. It sounded a little bit eerie, I suppose, to a certain extent. Some time ago, we had a mini-series over here, or quite some time ago, and the background music was rather intriguing. It was called, if I remember rightly, War and Remembrance. I don't know whether you had that mini-series over there. Well, it was one of your particular series, I believe, but there was a tune in it that was in the background all the time, and it wasn't very much, and I put it on the piano, and I thought perhaps you might like to hear. I can only play, I suppose, about the first 8 bars, but you'll get the main theme when I play. Perhaps you might recall. It was all about the Holocaust in Germany, mostly, but of course the Americans were in it and everything else. But Robert Mitchum was in it, I believe, and various other, I forget now. But it was some time ago. But it was a stunning mini-series, and we enjoyed it very much. I hope you like it, Jenny. Referring back to Mrs. Palmer, I suppose it's quite a bit formal to call her Mrs. Palmer, because she was always known to me as Denise, although I must say that she always addressed me as Mr. Johnson. He's a very nice person. and I will give her your telephone number so that when she arrives in England, or she wants to get in touch with you, she'll be able to phone you, and perhaps you'd like to meet and have a formal chat, because being more or less in the same particular line, you both have a lot to talk. You would both have a lot to talk about, really. Anyway, how are you getting on in your retirement, George? It's rather nice, isn't it, to be able to sit back and relax? That's if you can relax. At the moment, I must say that Ada is in hospital. She's undergoing an operation today. That's the 15th of August. So I expect by the time you get this recording, it will be well and truly over. But she has to have a valve replacement, and I think it's a couple of what do they call them? Bypasses, and she was supposed to have had the operation yesterday, but they had some emergencies, so they had to see to them first, and because it could put Ada back. However, I think she's quite afraid, but there we are. I told her, well, these things that you won't know anything about once you get down there in the theatre. So she quite made me laugh, really, because she said to me, she said, I don't mind it so much, she said, but it's the thoughts of them using that Black and Decker to cut the rib cage. And then she said, I hear that they staple you up, she said. My goodness, she said, what the human body has to go through. I quite agree with her. And anyway, I sincerely hope that she comes through it all right. Anyway, as we haven't heard from you for a long time, there's been such a lot going on in the world, isn't there? Oh, I know what I meant to mention to you, George, that we have a sort of a come dancing segment on the ABC. That is the Australian broadcasting people. They put on a weekly come dancing thing, and it's quite professional, George. And I must say that some of the dancing these days is a bit weird, you know. They have this what they call a segment for professional dancers is the competition, and whoever wins this competition will have 2 free tickets to go to London and I don't know whether it's take part or see the ballroom championships, and they are really something. They have had 1 or 2 segments of formation dancing, but I can't say that I've been all that impressed. One was an American, one was an American one, I think, and I forget what the other one was. But anyway, they do a series of the dances, as you will realise, the Latin American and the rumba, tango, but they've all got various names to them, such as tangoette and weird names. I've got some waltz. I forget now. but they're all weird names, but they all mean the same thing. Foxtrots, foxtrot, waltz, and tango, rumba, whatever you like to call it. But they've got funny names to them. And I also have a segment called a cabaret segment, in which the couples perform their own particular dance to a particular sequence or choreography thing, and you get somebody, say, take a segment from 42nd Street or West Side Story, or the Phantom of the Opera, and they do a certain segment of it, and of course they dress the part and they sling the girls around, and there's some of it is very, very good, and we see that every Sunday just lately. We was a bit disappointed when we heard it was coming off, because we only had it on for about I think it was the last segment of that particular year, and we thought, one of those 5-minute wonders, show you this, and you get interested and you don't see it anymore. But we're pleased to see that it's all come back, and I suppose it's through the people demanding it, and so it's quite entertaining. Well, George and Jean, we're coming nearly to the end of the tape, so I thought I would just play just one oldie that you most probably know of, and here goes. Just Cares for Me. Yeah, it's a very old one, and it was quite a success over here a little while ago on a record. They had a cartoon of a cat uh, in cartoon form after this other cat who was a singer singing the song "My Baby Just Cares for Me." It's quite funny, really. I hope you enjoyed it, George. I'm afraid if you want to hear some more, you'll have to turn me over. See you over the other side. Here we are again, once again, George and Jean. On the other side, side two. It's such a long tape that it's very hard to fill it, really. But anyway, I would like to mention that we had a dog, a little pup, named Sally. It was a silky terrier. It was a bitch, and she was. My goodness! At the moment, she's over at my sister's over in Norlunga, and she's with her sister, who's another. Her name is Trixie, and when we first had her, she was only 6 weeks old, but she was terribly active, and she still is, come to that. But nevertheless, she was a lovely little thing, and Ada was really taken with her, you know. But we had such a lot of what shall I say, ups and downs with her in regards to putting her out into the garden, that she kept digging it up and tearing around and digging holes. My goodness gracious. And anyway, I decided to petition off the end of the alleyway to our garden and keep her confined to that. So I made a kennel for her, and we put it just outside the door, and we could hear her running up and down, and we gave her an old brush, an old scrubbing brush that she used to grab hold of that and toss it up in the air, and she had a little toy dog that my sister made, and she used to throw that away up in the air, and goodness gracious. As she got older, of course, we had a spade, and when we took her to the vet, we asked how we could keep her from pulling the stitches and things like that while she was stitched. And they told us that if we cut the bottom off of a plastic pot for gardening, in one of those flower pots, and put that over her head, she would, more or less, she would be all confined to that and wouldn't be able to touch them. So I said, well, I couldn't fancy doing that. So they said, well, if you put a stiff cardboard collar around her, So anyway, I thought, well, I'll make a stiff cardboard collar, which we we did, and I put that round her neck, and she had that on for I suppose for about 2 or 3 days. She didn't take much notice of it, except that every time she was out the back, she would run along the wall and it would plop, 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 plop. And every time she went to get into the kennel, it would bang on that. And it really was rather funny. But that lasted for about a couple of days, and she tore that off. So I made another one, and sure as eggs, she had that off in a couple of days too. So we thought, oh well, let's leave it like that, and chance whether she bites the stitches or whatever. Anyhow, she didn't. It didn't seem as if she did that. We took her to the vet at the end of the week, and he took the stitches out, and oh, she was all right. So that was that. But the strange thing that we put carpet in the bottom of the kennel outside, and because I didn't secure it firmly enough. Oh, just a minute, it's the phone. Oh, that interruption was somebody phoned to ask how Ada was, and because the operation was supposed to have been yesterday, but they had to put it off today. Anyhow, getting back to what we was talking about, oh, the dog, yes. Yes, in the kennel was carpeted with a rubber-backed carpet that I put down, but I hadn't secured it properly. And in consequence, she got hold of a couple of threads, pulled that, and proceeded to thread the carpet like billy-o. And underneath was a rubber backed, and she chewed all that, and so in the end I had to put another piece of carpet down and secure it with at the ends, so that she wasn't able to get any more threads. But my goodness, she certainly chewed that up. And in the garden, my goodness, she'd made such a mess of the back garden that I pulled most of the plants up and planted seed, and I put some wire netting over the seed to keep it from her and from her pulling it up. And of course the grass started to come up, but it didn't stand much of a chance, because the poor little old seeds, they just got pulled out. So in the finish, I made this gate to stop her from going over it. So the grass started to come through, and it's all right now. But at the time it was quite a do to try and keep her from getting on it. The hole she made was absolutely, well, I don't know, she wanted to get back to England, I reckon. And somebody said to me, why don't you put pepper down? So I put some pepper down, but I think I should have given her a knife and fork and some salt, and she could have made a sandwich of it, because she dug it up just the same. So that's how she got put behind the gate. And I was out in the garden one day, and she was up in the alleyway, and I heard some crunching going on, and when I went to look to see what was happening, she was only up on her hind legs chewing the eaves of the kennel. And I was absolutely furious. But funny enough, once we stopped her from doing it, she never went back to it again. But at the time, my goodness. But of course we had quite a trouble with her doing her wheeze in the laundry, but I think it was mainly our fault, because she give a little whimper and we would tell her to shut up because we thought she wanted to come in with us. And the next minute we would find that there was a wet by the back door. So I suppose it was mainly our fault. But anyway, I suppose that she would have educated us in time. In regards to entertainment, we was watching the other night a command performance. I think it was the Queen's birthday, and it's a funny thing, but on the Queen's birthday over here we get a holiday, day off from work. Well, of course I didn't mean I don't work now, but still, everybody gets a day off, and we was very intrigued with the some of the dancing, some clever dance routines from the girls and the fellas, and it was quite a very entertaining night. I don't know whether they showed it to you over there. I suppose they did, yeah. And talking about TV, we have some very good TV advertising propaganda here. Technical abilities of some of the TV advertising agencies, amazing really. There's one agency who produced 3 superb film segments for an insurance company. And the first was looking along a shoreline. It seemed as if he was floating along the shore. I suppose it's taken from a helicopter, with the waves breaking over onto the shore. And in the distance, as you're floating along, is a family of 3 playing. But it's such a distance away, and it gradually gets nearer and nearer and nearer, and until you gradually catch up with this family, and they're playing on the sand, and it comes to right up within about 2 feet from this family, and it's truly amazing. The second one is even more remarkable. It shows you a scene from a cliff top, which is about 10 miles away, and gradually this scene gets nearer and nearer until the cliff tops come to within a few feet from the edge, where there's an old couple, and the fellow is taking a photo of themselves, a delayed photo of themselves, and he switches on, and the camera takes a delayed snap to take a delayed snap of them both, and the camera comes to within about 2 feet of this fella, and it's quite amazing, because there's no stopping of, like say, coming up to the cliff and sort of getting off and gradually working the camera up. It just simply goes right up to them. And the third one is a tall building in the city. That's about the same distance, about 10 miles away, and gradually gets nearer and nearer all the time, focusing on an office block, about 20 floors, and gradually it gets to within about 2 feet of the window and closer, and then it goes right into, it doesn't stop or anything like that, but it simply goes closer and closer, right up to the group of office workers there, and picks out one particular fellow-like sort of thing, to within about 2 feet. And that's truly amazing. Anyway, well, I think we'll have a musical interlude now, shall we? Here's a little number of George that I think you'll remember. It's called I Only Have Eyes for You. might like to know, George, that Kay's just popped in to see me about Ada, and whether she would like to say a few words to. Would I say a few words to George, just to let him know that you're around?
I'm alive and well.
Yeah. She's
Hi,
been
George.
playing netball.
No, basketball.
Basketball.
Hi, George and Jean. Long time no here. I would imagine you'd be saying that at the moment. Yes, Des Day said I play basketball. It's about 3 times a week now. And just popped in to say hello like I normally do on a Thursday. Plus with the Ada in hospital, we're quite concerned. And, well, it caught me off guard really, I don't know what to say.
Oh, well, you just said hello, that's okay, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
Well, I'm just going to play another number, George, and a very old one. This one is one that Nance liked to hear me play.
Not bad for old guy, is he, George? Still playing very well, isn't he?
Yeah. I've got a book here, George. I've got 3 books, as a matter of fact. One's the 20s, one's the 30s, and another one of the 40s, tunes of the 40s. And I thought I'd play one of the 40s. I expect it'll bring a few memories back to you. The Nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. couple of oldies, George, I should think you would know. I Walk Alone and The Gypsy. Well, I thought I'd finish up on a fast number, George. One of the old-time favourites, Sweet Georgia Brown. bet you thought that was a row, wouldn't it? Oh, I must agree, I'm getting rusty now, George. But still, it keeps the old fingers going, doesn't it? Well, George, I think I've got a bit more tape to play, and so I thought I'd finish up with memories from the play Cats. Here goes. Well, there we are, George. I hope you enjoyed it, and perhaps not in the long too distant future we might be able to see you in person. And until then, I say cheerio. Cheerio, George. Cheerio, Jean. By the way, George, I suddenly remembered that I had to phone the hospital to see how Ada was getting on, and she come through her operation okay, and she's now in the intensive care ward, in the recovery ward, and I'm hoping to go and see her tomorrow. That's on the, the 16th, isn't it? It's the 15th now, isn't it? And yes, we'll be seeing her tomorrow. So, hoping that all's well, we hope that she will be okay. So, cheerio again, once again, George. Bye-bye.